Okay, so I'm going to go over these questions for this SAT prep. So at this point, you've already done these questions, and now we're just kind of looking to the work in case you didn't understand something, or if you just want to see perhaps there's a different way you could do the problem than the way you did it. So these first three are no calculator. Okay, so number one, uh, well, what I would do here is first I would substitute um, 9 in for x and rewrite the equation. Okay, then the question is asking us to solve for k. So this is a problem where I feel good about it. I know how to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it as opposed to look at the answer choices and working backwards. Okay, so I'm going to move 9 to the other side. In my head, I'm already thinking I need to get rid of that radical. So I'm going to square both sides. And this is going to come out nicely for me. Move the 2 over, so k is equal to 79. Okay, and I know this is no calc, but you can still kind of check it, right? You could put 79 in here and say, well, this would be 79 plus 2 minus 9. And so square root of 81 minus 9, 9 minus 9, and that equals 0. It checks. Okay, next one. This one can get a little tricky. What you want to do in problems like this is whenever we're talking about which is equivalent and you're dealing with variables, there's usually some form of substitution going on, right? You are looking for what is equivalent to 4z plus 8y. So really what you want to do is can you substitute in for z and can you substitute in for y? So I can substitute for z because this entire thing is equal to z. And I can substitute for y because this is equal to y. So I'm going to rewrite this, but now I'm going to substitute in what I know. So 4 times z is a squared plus b squared. And again, that's what I'm highlighting in yellow. And then plus 8 times y, which is 8 times b. So the greens now match up. Okay, and now looking at my answer choices, um, which is a helpful thing to do to know what form they're looking for your answer. My answer is going to be um, binomial squared. Okay, so let me multiply this out. Okay, and now when I'm looking at this, none of those look like this. And there's a couple options here. Right away, I recognize I can factor out a 4. Great. The problem with that is that in my answer choices, there's no 4 factored out. Okay, so that tells me maybe there's another way I can do this. So what I'm noticing is this is a perfect square trinomial. So let me just rewrite it, move the terms around just slightly, and then this is a perfect square trinomial. And in perfect square trinomials, um, they're of the form a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So if you recall back from first semester when we did this, that means this is a perfect square, which is true. This is a perfect square, which is true. And then this is 2 times a times b. Well, in this case, a is a square root of 4, so a is 2. B is a square root of 4, so b is 2. And you connect the b and the a in there is fine, which means that this must be 2ab. So 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. It all checks out. So that means that I can factor this trinomial. So this factors into a plus b quantity squared, which means that a is 2a plus b is 2b quantity squared, which is b. Now, you might not see that, and that's fine. Okay, the other option here is if you don't recognize it right away as a perfect square trinomial, is to multiply these out, meaning you can multiply those out and see which one of those is equivalent to 4a squared plus 8ab plus 4b. You'll get there, right? So you would multiply those out and then compare it um, to this. You'll get there. It just will take a little bit more time. Okay. All right, let's move to the next one. Nice little word problem here. Okay, so it says Jackie has 2 summer jobs. She works as a tutor and she works as a lifeguard. Okay, I'm going to let you read that. If we go down, the question is saying which of the following systems of inequalities represents a situation where X is the number of hours she tutors and Y is the number of hours she works. So, what do we know? We know that how many hours can she work? No more than 20 hours per week. So, right away, we know that X plus Y has to be less than or equal to 20. It cannot be no more than 20. So right away, eliminate A and eliminate D. Okay. Whenever you can eliminate with multiple choice, you want to do that. You don't even, if you can eliminate them, you want to do that because in the end, if you have to guess, you want to guess from the ones that you know have a possibility of being an answer. Okay. Now we still have 2 answer choices left, so we have to go back to the question. Says that tutoring pays $12 an hour. So $12 times the number of hours she tutors. Lifeguarding pays $9.50 an hour, so 9.5 times the number of hours she lifeguards. And this time she wants to earn at least 220 per week. So more than 220 or at least 220, so greater than or equal to 220. So our answer here is going to be C. Okay. Now we move to calculator. Okay, so it says the mean score of 8 players is 14.5. The highest individual score is removed. What is the mean score of the remaining 7 players? I'm sorry, the mean score of the remaining 7 becomes 12. What is the highest score? So let's remember, I'm going to do my work over here, that mean is the same thing as average. Okay, these are equivalent. So if you're trying to find the average or the mean of something, usually you take the sum or the total, divide it by the number of terms, and that gets you your average. Okay, so let's use that for this. Okay, so if the mean of 8 players was 14.5, that means that the total divided by 8 equals 14.5. Well, that means that the total is just 8 times 14.5, which is 116. Now let's do that when the highest score is removed. So now it's the total divided by 7, because now there's only 7 players, and then the mean went down to 12. That means that the total is now 7 times 12, which is 84. So these are our 2 key numbers, 116 and 84. So with the highest score, the total point scored is 116. With the highest score removed, the total is 84. So that means that the highest score must be the difference between the two, because all you're doing is removing it. So 116 minus 84, and you get 32. So C is your answer there. Okay, last one for today. This gives you a graph. It says the slope of the graph of the linear function g is 4 times the slope of this graph of f. Okay, and it says if it passes through the point 0, -4, what is the value of g in 9? So g of 9 is what we're looking for. In order to figure out the slope of g, we need to first figure out the slope of f. So use your graph. Okay, recognize the scale, and the scale is going by 1, so we're good there. So we can use our graph and count. Take a point, go up 1, go to another point, a lattice point, up 2. So the slope of f of x, so let's write this down. F of x slope is 1 over 2. That means that the slope of g of x, it tells us is 4 times that, so 4 times 1 over 2, which is 2. Okay, so that's important to know. And then it says the graph of g passes through the point 0, -4. Well, that is our y-intercept. Okay, which means that the equation of g of x, which is in the form mx plus b, is going to be our slope, which is 2, so 2x, And then our y-intercept, so that means b is -4, so -4. Okay, still not our final answer. Okay, the question again says, what is the value of g of 9? Okay, well, we can do that now. Now we just plug in 9 for x into our g function, and we get 18 minus 4, and we get 14. So the answer there is C. Okay, those are our problems for today. Please email me with any questions. Thanks, guys.